Welcome to Really American. I am Michael Hayne. Now, I have covered JD Vance extensively, and unfortunately, I'm probably going to be forced to cover him more. Hopefully, it's over after an election day. And I must say, I don't think I've ever come across anybody as unsettling, as just cringe, weird, and unlikable as him. I'm convinced that he is a lizard person, or I actually want to give him the Turing test. I don't know. Maybe that'll be necessary. Now, for some reason, the Trump campaign thought it would be wise to send JD Vance to speak before a group of union-affiliated firefighters in Boston. Union, firefighters, Boston, JD Vance. Yeah, that all goes together like Twinkies and a fine wine. Anyway, as you can imagine, it didn't go too well for JD. Let's take a look at that.
Now, President Trump and I are proud to be the most pro-worker Republican ticket in history, and I want to talk about why we're fighting for working people, why we're going to fight for unions and non-union alike.
Ugh, union supporting? By the way, JD, probably not always a good idea to start off your speech by insulting a group of firefighters. Speaking of which, can any of those guys put out the massive dumpster fire that is JD Vance? That would be nice.
The Republican and Democrat conventions we just had, it says a lot who each party chose to put up on that stage. At the Republican convention, we were featuring everyday American workers, and of course, we had Hulk Hogan. And while it's tempting, and I'm sure it would make some big headlines, don't worry, everybody, I'm not going to try to take off my shirt here.
Could you stop being cringe for just a second, please? Now, if only there was some sort of way to show how decidedly anti-union and anti-worker Trumpy Dumpty is. Like maybe if there was like this glorious chant or something. Oh, wait, I think there is.
For the UAW and for working class people everywhere, this election comes down to one question. Which side are you on? On one side, we have Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who have stood shoulder to shoulder with the working class. On the other side, we have Trump and Vance. Two lapdogs for the billionaire class who only serve themselves. So for us in the labor movement, it's real simple. Kamala Harris is one of us. She's a fighter for the working class. And Donald Trump is a scam. That's not just my opinion. That's a...
I think I'm going to put that track right up there with my other favorite track, Bleach Blonde, Bad Built, Butch Body. Now, JD Vance is not only anti-worker, but he's a Silicon Valley simp. His entire professional career has been funded by Silicon Valley. He does everything for corporations. Case in point, PayPal founder Peter Thiel. Let's look at the sordid relationship between JD Vance and Peter Thiel, notoriously anti-union Peter Thiel.
Republican donor base, including Elizabeth Uline and Kelly Loeffler. But he also pulled in large sums from tech billionaires like Roku's Anthony Wood and Oculus's Palmer Luckey. His partner at the top of the Republican ticket doesn't need much help fundraising. Trump is pulling ahead in the money race and recently received one of the largest one-time donations in American history. But he still won't turn down extra cash, and some of the biggest billionaire backers of Vance's 2022 Senate run have not yet given to Trump. One of those backers is hedge fund billionaire Paul Singer, who met with Trump recently, but apparently told the former president he preferred a different VP candidate. Luckily, not all these billionaires feel the same. Real estate developer Richard Kurtz told Forbes that Vance was a, quote, perfect pick, and said he recommended him to Trump earlier this year. The potential Veep himself might also take some credit for bringing the world's richest man fully into the MAGA fold. In the wake of Vance's announcement, the Wall Street Journal reported that Elon Musk was committing $45 million a month to a pro-Trump PAC. Musk recently posted on X, in all caps, Trump Vance. He added, quote, resounds with victory. Here are a few of JD Vance's biggest billionaire backers. At number 1 is Peter Thiel, whose net worth is $7.9 billion and who has given $15 million to Vance Groups. Vance once described a talk Thiel gave as, quote, the most significant moment of my time at Yale Law School. He said it helped him realize that he was overly obsessed with obtaining professional credentials, even though it was Thiel himself, a PayPal co-founder and early investor in Facebook, who helped provide Vance with one of the first of many impressive resume lines. Soon after law school, Vance took a job as a principal at Mithril Capital, a VC firm Thiel co-founded. He didn't stay long, but the pair's bond clearly endured. Thiel dished out more than $15 million to support Vance in 2022. Thiel, a once self-professed libertarian who has published lengthy treatises on political theory, he backed Trump in 2016, but recently told The Atlantic that he regretted it and would be staying out of politics in 2024. That could change with his former employee now on the ticket.
Of course, that piece is slightly dated because Kamala Harris is now destroying Trumpy Dumpty on the fundraising front, but just had to show that to illustrate the sordid relationship between JD and PayPal founder Peter Thiel. I think I've already mentioned this, but it goes worth saying again that the contrast between weirdo and ridiculously unlikable JD Vance and the loving, down-to-earth, totally likable Tim Walz is so salient and could be seen from space. Look, this guy can't even order donuts, but worse yet, he can't connect at all with the average American. I mean, imagine that applause meter at his sad, pathetic rallies that are so sparsely attended. I think more people would want to go to a COVID convention than a JD rally. But it's kind of reminiscent of, remember Jeb Bush in 2016 where he was like, please clap, please clap. That's just the vibe it is with JD Vance because he is just such an empty vessel of a pod human. Whereas Governor Walz, Coach Walz, should I say, is just so normal, well-adjusted, and can relate to normal and well-adjusted Americans. Brings happiness, brings joy, brings acceptance, brings humor, just brings freaking normalcy. And that is the very thing that a majority of Americans, and I mean a majority of Americans, not the shrinking minority freak show MAGA land, but the majority of Americans are clamoring for. Whereas JD Vance naturally appeals to the treasonous, cringe, unlikable weirdos like Tucker Carlson. Remember, he's the one he made that stupid whole childless cat lady statement to, and they're like, oh. Like JD Vance and Tucker Carlson are basically incel wank socks that have been actualized. That is what they are. So, I mean, again, I think Kamala Harris' greatest decision, aside from ignoring RFK Jr., was making Tim Walz her VP, as he brings that much-needed balance in terms of reaching middle America that she needs, and he's just an all-around likable guy. Well, I am Michael Hayne. This is Really American. If you like our content, please hit that subscribe button and be sure to check me out on my latest TikTok account at Mike Hayne Comedian. Talk to you later.